today I have Christopher. Christopher is in Paris, you know, and he'll be joining us to talk about some of his struggles um, moving from Nigeria to Paris. I would let him introduce himself and tell you, everyone about his experience, what he's been through, and I have how he's been able to navigate things. So fingers crossed, so you can learn everything Christopher has been through. Thanks for having you.
Okay, so I'm Chris, Christopher. So I'm an engineer. I studied electrical engineering from UNN.
Oh, electronic
Uh,
engineering, you and too.
yeah,
Me too.
you?
Electronic,
Really?
yeah.
Small
2014.
world. 2018 sets for me.
Oh, cool. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I worked for a bit in telecoms industry in Lagos for 1 year during my service at IPNX
Cool.
as a network engineer. And then I opted to go for my master's in Europe or anywhere the
Trust me,
Jackpot
that's
leads
not
me.
my guy. Any jackpot, like, just
Yeah,
move there.
anywhere. So I was able to get France. So I got a funding in a university in France. So I came here in 2020, just after the first wave of the COVID, September 29th, 2020 by 9 a.m.
No.
So you can't forget this kind of
At
stuff.
all, at all, at all.
So
At all, at
yeah,
all.
I landed in Paris. So actually, my school was somewhere in the south of France, a little city called Pau, P-A-U.
Mhm.
That's where they have the border with Spain. So I studied energy systems optimization and simulation over there for a year and a half. And then I had the opportunity to come to Paris for my internship, and I've been a Parisian ever since. At Air Liquide, one of the French oil and gas producing companies. So I did an internship at the it's a multinational. So I did an internship at the head office in the hydrogen energy world business line, because everybody is looking to decarbonize their process in
Yeah,
this energy transition.
yeah.
And after that, I was able to get a role at Total. So I'm in Total now in Paris.
Total in Paris.
Yeah, Total Energies. Yeah.
My guy, you start funding my life very soon. We are funding. This is all. This is a really amazing story. So I think maybe we could start off this conversation more around you moving. Let's start with that, because
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of Nigerians want to migrate, but they're trying to understand, how would that work for them. I can understand the guys that have to go through the desert. That's it's hell. I understand what they are
Crazy.
running away from, but it's hell.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people want to understand, what are better approaches to follow to be able to, move from Nigeria to other countries and still have like really amazing lives. So maybe you could start off with that.
Is the light on my face okay?
Yeah, it is okay. Get better. Okay, it's way better now. Cool. Yeah.
So how I moved, so it all started from my NYSC. During my service, I looked at the state of things and I said to myself that I don't think I can survive in this climb, because I like did a projection of my life if I stay there, and it wasn't looking good. So I began for me, I believe if you want to japa, you have to look for what works for you and what skills you have that you can use to go out there. So for me, I knew it would be via academics, because I didn't have any professional experience then that could take me away. So it's academics and my brain. So
Quick question before you go
yeah,
forward. This is personal, you might decide not to answer it, but
yeah,
what do you graduate with? First class school?
yeah.
First class, right?
First class. Yeah. So matter of fact, I graded as the best students in my faculty
Oh wow, that's
for my
amazing.
year.
Cool.
Yeah. So I came with the first class, and so I knew I would have better options. Through trying to live through graduate school. So I applied for so many universities in the UK. Just spread my tentacles everywhere. UK, US, Canada, Russia, France, everywhere. But I had choice destinations, so I never applied to anywhere I wouldn't want to go to.
Got it.
So it was just Europe and North America, and applied for a number of fundings and just hoped for the best. So I made up to like 15 to 20 applications, different places that year, and one of them, all you need is a yes.
That's all.
So,
That's all. Of all the
yeah,
roles, just
yeah,
yes is okay. Yeah.
exactly. Yes, all you need is a yes, and so I got a yes from a university in France, and I came here.
That's exciting.
So yeah, arriving here, the first problem, which is still a problem up to today, is how to cope with the language.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
yeah, because Nigeria is an Anglophone country, and I, for one, never paid attention to French
Glass.
in secondary or
Yeah,
primary
no,
school.
trust
Yeah,
me.
I for one never paid attention.
Yeah.
So I had zero knowledge of French when I arrived here. A few months before my arrival, just when I was making my visa application, and I started taking some classes on Duolingo. Like it's like a game, you play it like a game, so learning some French. But I tell you solemnly, the moment you land here, everything you think you've learned goes out the window.
Completely understand.
It goes out the window.
Yeah.
So okay, at the airport, you get people speak English there. And one thing with French people is you hardly find people who speak English in France. Like there are, but they don't want to speak, and they are not confident to speak with you in English. Because I was having this conversation with a colleague, and he was like, yes, because among themselves, they judge each other when they speak wrong French. Just like maybe you're speaking English with someone and the person speaks bad English, you might be like, this one go to school or So
Oh,
they do that too in French. So they think that when they speak with you in English and
judge
they
them.
don't speak well, you judge them.
Got it.
So that's why, because I noticed that you ask someone, can you speak English? They said no. But then they start speaking with you in English, and they're doing well. I'm like,
Yeah.
but this, you're speaking well. We're like, no, 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 no. So I then said, okay, that's
Hey.
the reason why.
It's very similar here also in Brazil, where people, like, obviously, but in Brazil here they speak Portuguese. And I also struggle with them when I try to, like, first and foremost, like you said, it's the same thing. It's hard finding people that speak English here. For example, in Sao Paulo, where I am, Sao Paulo is just like Lagos in Nigeria, where it's very economic. It's, business, like everybody's, really trying to get stuff done. You have a lot more English speaking folks around here, but still, when you find people that speak English, they also feel like they are being not necessarily judged by you, but they're being judged by all the other Brazilians because they are speaking English. They see the other Brazilians speaking English as either bougie or in some sort of way. It's very, very funny. So it's still this, they have this different culture shocks. I sort of like, it's very interesting to see them, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. So you go to a bank, the cashier doesn't know how to speak English. I'm like, this is a bank, you should know how to speak English. And so thank God for Google Translate. You begin to type and show, and then they type and show you back.
Yeah.
And then, but then if you are lucky, you meet someone that can speak, your life gets better. So living in a smaller city, you hardly find people that speak English. But coming to Paris, at least it's much better.
True.
So I remember a funny incident. Because I'm Catholic, the first time I went, I approached the priest for confession, me and my friend. Just after mass, though, I had stayed for months, nothing, because the mass everything is in French.
Yeah.
So we gathered morale and we approached the priest, and we're like, we are students, we are new here, and we'd like confession. At least I had crammed that one before before meeting the priest, and the priest said, okay, but the priest doesn't speak English. So imagine doing confession. I was speaking French. The prince was speaking English. The prince didn't understand what I said. I didn't understand what he said. It was crazy.
Amazing.
It was crazy. So, but we all have to find a way to make it work and to make everything work. So many different funny incidences, and it's crazy.
Okay, that confessional is a very, very interesting story. It's a
Yeah.
story to tell. That's cool. Wow. So are you taking like French classes now? What does that look like?
Okay, yeah. So as part of my program, we had to take French. Although I studied in English, my program was a master's for international students.
Okay.
So I studied fully in English, but as part of one of the courses I had to do French lessons. So I started from A0.
Okay.
So that's from bonjour, the very basics.
Bonsoir.
And so I did that for 2 semesters.
Okay.
So after the second semester, I had to go for a 6 months internship. So from there, I had to start learning by myself, watching videos on YouTube, French with Alicia, taking my Duolingo more seriously, trying to practice with my colleagues and my flatmates, reading French books, French for Dummies. There's a textbook I'm reading, French for Dummies. So I just do this in the morning on my way to work, in the evening on my way back, my free time, because if you think you can be here for 10 years, if you don't put the effort, you won't learn the language.
I agree.
And then if someone has the intention of staying here to make your life easier, you have to just learn the language so you can integrate better, so you can be exposed to better opportunities. Because I remembered when I was looking for a job, it was quite challenging because even recruiters that reach out to you on LinkedIn, they'll be like, we find your profile very interesting for our role. And then when they hear that your French level is not good enough, you lost that opportunity. So you be limited to maybe probably multinationals, like enterprises that conduct their business in English multinationally. So those are the opportunities that you'll be restricted to. But coming to Paris, there's a lot of international activity here because it's Paris.
Yeah.
Even especially during the holidays, the summer like this, there are always tourists in Paris, always.
Awesome.
So you get to meet interesting people, and yeah.
That's cool.
So
that's really cool. You mentioned a YouTube channel you were using. What's the name again?
French with Alicia.
Okay, French with Alicia. I will probably get the name from you later.
Yeah.
Cool. So about the job search. So 2 things, the job search, let's get with that first. How was that for you? So you're done with your master's.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was the process? I'm sure people would love to learn, what to do in that situation.
It all started, the job search started with, first of all, getting an internship to complete the master.
Okay.
Because in the French system, you have what they call M1 and M2, Master 1 and Master 2. M1 is like the first year of the master, M2 is the second year of the master.
Okay.
So I was enrolled directly into M2.
Okay.
By virtue of my previous engineering background. So, and in the M2, most times you just do only 1 semester. And then the second semester the whole of the second semester is internship, which counts towards your grade at the end of the day. So many a time you have to be the one to search for a company by yourself. So being in the scientific field, which I'm in, you have 2 choices. Either want to do it either in a research laboratory, or 2 to do it in the industry.
Okay.
But I, for one, I'm more interested in industrial application. I am not so much of a research person, and I didn't have any plans for a PhD. So it would pay me better to do my internship in an industrial setting in a company. So, but if I were interested in research and PhDs, then it would be better to do it in the lab. And bear in mind that unlike in Nigeria, the labor law here says that any internship that is more than 2 months, you must be paid.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Because I remember my Cyrus 6 months, which I did for 6 months.
No payment.
Shishi, I did not get.
Completely get it. It's crazy.
Exactly.
We're even talking
So,
about
yeah.
people finish and graduate, and even after graduating, you go and get a job as an intern, and you're not even paid for a year straight. It's sad.
Exactly. So here, any internship that is more than 2 months, they are under obligation to pay you a minimum of 540 euros per month. A minimum. So yeah, I knew I was going to be paid for the internship. And also when you do an internship in a company, there's more money to it as regards compared to doing it in a lab. Okay. So I opted not to do it in the lab. So I had to start searching for companies, shooting my shots. And trust me, there were lots of shots.
I can imagine.
It was at a point it became frustrating and depressing.
Wow.
Because we were 10 in the class, and around 5 people opted to do an internship in the lab in the school. Okay. So it's like very easy. You just apply and they give it to you. So, but then the rest of us, we opted to do it in the industry. So like out of the 5 that were remaining, like 3 got, or two got in the industry. It was remaining me and 2 other people. And so when it was time for internship, everybody started doing their internship, and I had not even gotten anything. Wow. So you wake up in the morning, there's nothing to do. Wow. You just sit, and your mates are already doing something. So it tends to affect you psychologically. So I then intensified my efforts. Then I had the opportunity to attend an event that was being hosted in the ESMT Berlin. So I attended online. So it was like a job fair for students. Okay. And so I had the opportunity to meet recruiters from top companies, multinational companies, Pfizer, AB InBev, Coca-Cola, Daimler, the makers of I think it's PM, Mercedes-Benz, yeah, Daimler Group. Okay. So I met with these recruiters like in person, virtually, and so most of their jobs were tenable in Germany. So in order for me not to miss out, I began to ask them, okay, so you are the recruiters, you guys are the ones that decide whose application goes forward and whose doesn't. So what do you want to see in a good application? And then they began to give me tips, especially with respect to the motivation letter. And so I put those tips down, wrote them down, and I began a new approach altogether. Yeah. So the first night I applied for 7 jobs. Prior to that, I had applied for so many jobs. I had only invited for 2 interviews. Wow. So my next time out, I applied for 7 jobs that night. The next day, one of them called me. Wow. And then so they called me, and the whole process was just so fast. I did the interview, and within 1 week, I got the offer. Wow. So 7 of those jobs I applied for that night, I got 3 callbacks. Wow. So one of those callbacks too was Total, and the third one was United Nations. So, but I had already, those other ones called me back like a few weeks later. I had already accepted Air Liquide. And Air Liquide too was not a small company, so I wasn't missing out on anything. Yeah. And the salaries are on par. So I just chose to go with Air Liquide. And so with that, I had the experience. So after my internship at Air Liquide, started the process again. But this time around, the one I got, they actually reached out to me.
Oh, they reached out already?
Via LinkedIn. Yeah, they reached out to me via LinkedIn. And
as a total team or different team?
Yeah, one of their recruiting partners. So they reached out to me, and the rest is history.
That's awesome, man. That's amazing. That's good. That's crazy. I'm happy, that's going really, really well. Maybe we could talk a bit more about, how you went into like getting like is the process of getting like a bank account tricky as an immigrant?
It's very easy.
That's
I got my bank account was the first thing I got because everything is linked to.
obviously.
Yeah. So so the next day, all you need, because I was a student, so all I needed was just my accommodation certificate
Yeah.
and my passport. That's all.
Just the two of them.
So just those two. Yeah. So I went there, told them I was a student. Just those two. Obviously, my visa.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. So, and I got it. So I got it, and then I filled the form, gave it to them, and then a few days later, I got my IBAN.
That's awesome.
So it was very easy, very easy. But in some other places, it can be quite tricky. Like some other countries,
Yes.
depends on the laws in place.
True.
But then there are still other online accounts one can have, like Revolut, TransferWise,
Yeah.
and the rest. So everything has been made easy. N26.
True.
So,
very true. Okay, that's amazing. That's cool. So yeah, let's go back to your food experience. I know for me, it was. So I stayed in Ghana for a year. It was a problem for me in Ghana. Ghana is in Africa. It's a neighbor to Nigeria, like we all know. Still, food was a problem for me. So, and I understand I might be peculiar because, I am not, very adventurous, like I had said. But, I'm guessing, you might have a different experience. So how about for you in Paris? What was it? How was it?
Okay. So for the food aspects, I came with a lot of food stuff.
Okay.
From Nigeria, egusi, ogbono, crayfish, okokoko, all those stuff. So I came with a lot of them.
Okay.
So for like the first 8 months, I was cooking good homemade meals. And bear in mind that this is France and they have a lot of African people here, especially the Francophone. And some of them have similar food to what we do, with what we have.
Yeah.
So, and then there are African stores where you can get African food.
Okay.
So food has not, I cook Nigerian food. I still cook Nigerian because I'm not yet used to their French food here. I don't even know what it is. Like I got to begin to eat French food more when I was on internship, because at the break you go to the restaurants and then they serve you what's the meal of the day, and then my colleagues begin to explain to me, okay, this is from Brittany, it's made from this and this, so all those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at home, up till now, I still eat homemade food. So they have Nigerians, African stores, they have Nigerian stores. So I remember in my city, a Nigerian friend of ours, because there's always a good Nigerian community, at least everywhere. Nigerians are everywhere. So there's a good Nigerian community. So, and there's a good possibility that one person in that community owns a store.
Okay.
So, so there was this guy, he has a store, and then everything, you can find everything in his store, everything. So coming to France, also, if I want egusi or anything, I go to, there's a lady, Mama Toby. It's close to Mama Toby, yeah, it's close to where I cut my hair. Okay. So yeah, it's quite far from my house, but whenever I go to cut my hair, I branch Mama Toby's shop and and stock up. So yeah, so. And then you have African stores too. African stores could be run by Chinese or Indians, but they sell all the African stores close to my place. They sell almost everything. Everything, in fact, they sell everything. Okay. But everly, you won't get something like Onugu there, bitter leaf, or some core Nigerian stuff. Yeah. But at Mama Toby's place, you can get them there. So, but normally
No, continue. Forgive me. Yeah.
So normally, normally egusi, this normal stuff, You get them. You get them. Then I was shocked to my bones because I arrived in Paris like last year, August.
Okay.
So the day I was moving and I saw roasted corn. Someone selling roasted
Are
corn
you
by.
serious?
Yes, I was shocked to my bones. Like, but
Wow.
roasted. You get roasted corn in Paris. Yeah,
Wow.
I even had one like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like it tastes really well also.
That's really well. It's
Hmm.
really so well.
That's
But
interesting.
they don't normally combine it with coconut or pear.
Yeah.
But the corn,
Corn
yeah,
itself.
roasted, the corn itself, roasted. It tastes so good.
Mama Toby
So
sells egusi, like, is it like already prepared or you're like buying just the
as you want, she has the one like already hand already peeled. So if you want the peeled one or the ground one, yeah. So €7, €5 and €2 depending on the size.
Let's see.
So yeah, she has it all. Indomie too, like the
Are
Indomie,
you serious?
Yeah. So it's all there.
That's interesting. That's amazing to know. Okay, Mama Toby, like you said, I'll probably get more description about her and probably add it also to the description. That's cool.
Yeah.
How about like you said, go and cut your hair. And I see you have a really nice haircut also. Now I'm jealous. Please help me understand how the process is for you, because it's not the same for me.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite funny. So when you arrive in places like this, like a new place, it will make you to begin to learn how to have some skills, like, and begin to watch all these do-it-yourself videos, which on a normal day you would never dream of watching. Yeah. So back when I was in school, in the other city, so we were around 7 Nigerians, and we were staying in the same hostel. So cutting hair was €20. If you go to the shop to cut your hair, it's €20. And another thing that we do when you arrive new is that anything you want to buy, you first of all convert it to Naira. Like, €20 is around 12K. How would I go and just to cut my hair with 12K? So you can't just avoid doing that thing. That's mathematics. And for like the first few months, that will hamper you from spending money or getting necessary things, because when you convert everything, you find out that some things you're getting them way too expensive, while some others they are cheap. So we were like, I said I was not going to spend €20 to cut my hair. 12K.
This your other guys, are they Nigerians also?
Yes, we're Nigerians now. They were Nigerians. So I said we're around 7 Nigerians.
Okay, cool.
So around 6 guys and 1 lady.
Okay.
So even in my class, like we were 2 Nigerians.
Oh, amazing.
So what we did was we began to learn how to cut hair on YouTube. So the first time out, so we cut each other's hair. So yeah. So I was going on full low cut because you don't know how to cut hair. You want to cut style. No, it's not possible.
Exactly.
So yeah. So at some point, those other guys, they learned how to cut their hair themselves. That is what I couldn't do. Like, I can't even cut someone's hair perfectly, let alone cut my own hair. How do you see the back?
Exactly.
All they did is just 2 mirrors and they cut it very well.
Wow.
So, but all through my stay in the other city, those my guys were cutting my hair. And on arriving in Paris, my friend that knows how to cut hair in Paris left for another city for his PhD. So I couldn't cut myself, so I had to go to the shop. So luckily for me, another of my friend arrived from Greece. So he discovered one area. It's an area where there are so many Black people around. It's called Chateau Rouge here in Paris. So there's so many. It's like the home of Black people.
Interesting.
And you know one thing, and especially Africans. So I know one thing with Africans: anything you are selling there, if it's expensive, nobody will patronize you.
Exactly, yeah.
So cutting hair in that area is around 10 euros. So that's like half the price you pay when you go and cut in a conventional. And then they're Africans, they're already used to the style and everything. So they, when you go there, just explain. The first time I went, I was still not so fluent. I just pointed, okay, I want this on the picture. And so the guy that cuts my hair is from Ghana. So there are 3 guys there, one from Ghana, one from Senegal, and one from Congo, Brazzaville. So, and the 3 of them are good.
Awesome.
So this one was done by the Brazzaville guy. So just anyone, when you go, there are usually so many people, you wait for your turn, anyone available, you does his thing. So
that's awesome.
So yeah.
No, that makes
at
sense.
half the price.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At half the price. So
cool.
So
you're lucky, man.
So yeah, I've been going there ever since. Yeah.
You're really lucky. Okay, that's cool. That's amazing. So I think the other thing I think we should talk more about also is like, and maybe you might not be feeling this because you've always had like sort of like a support system for you because you've had like Nigerians around,
yeah,
like a lot of Black people around. Like, I was going to talk about like mental health and being like in a new environment. How has it been for you though?
Yeah, so that's where the support system comes in, like you said, because here, especially arriving in the middle of the lockdown, like because 1 week after I arrived, we went to another lockdown.
Wow.
In France. So, and here nobody cares about you. It's not like in Nigeria where I was in a hostel, but in the hostel you have your own room to yourself. It's not like where you'd be like 2 in a room. So you have your room to yourself, toilets and bathroom, depending on how big the room, the kitchen could be in there. But I was in a 9-meter square room, so the only thing I shared was general kitchen. So you could stay in a place for 1 month, you won't even see your neighbor.
Wow.
So especially if you have your kitchen in your room. But luckily for me, my kitchen was outside, so it was shared. So I get to meet new people, and discuss with people in the kitchen, and also practice my French too.
Yeah.
So but my friends that stayed in hostels in other cities where they were indoors, you don't see your neighbor, so you are alone. Your classes are online. It can, if you are not someone that is mentally strong, it begins to take its toll because nobody checks on you, nobody cares about you. But my case was different because we were around 7 Nigerians.
Yeah.
5 of us arrived at the same time. The other 2 had been there. So we began to discover things together. So, and then one of the other guys that was there before, Usman, is a very nice guy. He's a very selfless person. So he makes out time to take us to places. Okay, this is where you get this cheaper. Like give us the basic orientation, so we didn't have to make some mistakes. And so took us to where we got our pots and plates at a very cheap price. Got things at cheap price. Bear in mind, it was the winter was just starting, so got winter jackets and the rest cheap.
Yeah.
So and then whenever you are bored, you have 4 people or you have 6 people, you can invade their room and talk.
Yeah.
You can't do that with someone that is not Nigerian, you understand, or someone you don't know. So it was, life was never boring.
That's amazing.
Life was never boring. Yeah.
That's cool. That's super, Christopher. Thanks a lot. This is amazing. I think this one of information. I think being able to have people watch this would help them really understand how things are, at least in Paris, at least to a great extent. I'll get some of the details about some other things and just add them to the description so you could add them. Especially like the communities, like you said, maybe there are WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups where you have Nigerians. I'll just get the link. Share, people can find ways to join so that they can have those support systems from the end, hopefully that could help. So that
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. So here in Paris, in France, especially in France, we have this Telegram, because WhatsApp is just too small to hold it. So we call it Friends of Nigeria. So it's an organized body, so made by Nigerians. So it helps people. They organize events. People bring their issues to the group, and people help them to trash it out, advice, exchange currency, like, because if you want in Iran, so your peer-to-peer exchange.
Exactly.
So because you know how difficult it is to get forex in Nigeria. So exchange currency, you know that at least everybody gets vetted before they go in, before they're added.
Awesome.
So you know that anybody that has been added has been properly vetted. So anyone you trade with on that platform is legit. So, and it's for professional students. So if you have issues, you bring it there, and people have experience, they advise you, and they even post job people who are working in big companies who are in the position to hire people.
Yeah.
So people get jobs from there. So it's really amazing. It's really amazing. Maybe you are going to another city, and you don't have where to stay. You can be like, maybe you need where to stay for like a night or two. Someone can offer you accommodation from there. So stuff like this, it's golden.
So yeah, thanks a lot, Christopher, for really giving your time to us. Really appreciate this. And when I say us, I mean both myself and also everyone that needs to be able to move from Nigeria to Paris and need to understand what it means to adjust to that new environment. So, well, thank you for the time. I don't know if you have any final words for us. Yeah.
My final words. Well, first of all, try and like and subscribe to this channel because it has a lot of great content that can help you to acclimatize properly. And for those that are planning to japa, just take the leap. Take the leap, just do it. And yes, it's usually hard at the beginning, but it's always worth it. And my best advice is try to connect with if you are from Nigeria or anywhere, a network of people from your place. They will help you. It will make everything much easier, and you'll be able to integrate faster and better and save you from making plenty mistakes. So yeah, so just go for it.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for the time. Yeah.